Aaron, are we unmuting our video ourselves before we go up?
Yeah, if you could turn your videos off and your sound off, that would be great.
But when we go up, we turn it on from our end, right?
Please do.
Got it.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. We're live on Facebook, and about Facebook, we have, if you did have friends and family that were not able to attend today's reading, a live stream for today's reading is going to be available on the Almost Adults Facebook page, and we have been getting a whole separate audience that's watching the video, so that's been really great for the series. So to go back a bit, my name is Aaron Levitman. I am the producer of the Almost Adults LGBTQ+ online short play reading series. This is our 3rd edition, and we've been getting great audiences. We actually doubled our audience last month from the month before. So it seems like the word is getting out about us, and we're really thrilled. Just a couple of quick notes. There will be a talk back after today's reading with the playwrights. Some of the actors and directors will be able to join us as well. If you have questions about the plays, this is a great opportunity to dialogue with the creators of the works you're going to see today. The whole performance, the readings will run about 40 minutes, and then the talk back about half an hour or so after that, however long we need. And then I will be announcing the plays for next week, I'm sorry, for 2 weeks from today, which is going to be August 30th at the end of the reading. We do have 3 great short plays today, and we'll get started in just a minute. I just wanted to make a quick announcement about Zoom. There is a new sort of complication where when everyone's video goes off, there's a Zoom sign-up page that appears. If you do see that, don't panic and think that somehow the meeting has ended. It's just a little Zoom thing that we have to deal with. And without further ado, we are going to jump right in. We look forward to seeing you after today's reading for the Q&A. Thank you again also to those that have gotten the word out about us, particularly Theater Santa Fe, the Unitarian Universalists of Santa Fe, and all of you that have shared our Facebook posts and forwarded our emails. And we're going to get started. A Monogamy of Swans by John Minigan, directed by Duchess Dale. Cast of characters: Ellie, played by Natalie Bovis, a Bostonian, and Violet, played by Myri Chanel, a former Bostonian. Scene: Boston, the public garden near the lagoon, a quiet morning in spring. Ellie throws pieces of bread toward the lagoon, not gently. In fact, there's a murderous intent, an occasional grunt, and a definite snarl. Her accent shows her town of origin.
Come on, you frickin' no good. Come on. You little bastards, I'm gonna get you, so help me God. Yeah, you keep your distance. You know what's good for you.
Ellie,
Oh, shit.
Ellie, is that you down here?
No, it's not me.
Ellie,
Ellie stands and winds up to throw again.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Ellie considers the bread, considers Violet, then gently tosses a piece toward the lake.
What are you doing here?
I tried your apartment first. Figured you were probably here.
How you figure I'm at the public garden?
Because I saw Facebook. I figured you was, I figured I better drive down and see what you were doing.
You drove all the way from Haverhill just to see what I was doing?
Because I saw what you put on Facebook. That's them?
Little bastards.
You shouldn't put it on Facebook that you're gonna kill him. What'd you do, poison the bread?
Don't believe everything you see on the internet, all right? I'm just feeding them.
Why are you feeding them if you're gonna kill him?
That is so like you, asking questions, because you always got to have all your information. Well, let me tell you something. Life is not just a bunch of questions. Because if life was just a bunch of questions, you'd spend all your time asking them, and maybe you'd get an answer, and maybe the answer wouldn't be good for anybody, and maybe you'd realize that you should have just kept your fat mouth shut.
Ellie picks up a rock and prepares to throw it.
That is a rock.
I know it's a rock.
Are you gonna throw a rock at the Swans?
What, you want me to throw it at you?
What have you got against them?
Yeah, that's another good question. And why don't we ask? Hey, frickin' Swans! I'm thinking I might throw this rock and it might hit you. And Vi here would like an explanation for why I would do something like that. You have an explanation? Yeah, they got no answer. Filled with secrets. Filled with deceptions.
Yeah. I'm sorry about you and Jimmy.
I don't want to talk about Jimmy.
I'm sorry he left.
Yeah. You're probably all broken up about that.
He didn't deserve you.
Is that why you drove down here from Haverhill? Because Jimmy didn't deserve me.
I drove down because you put on Facebook how you were going to kill the Swans. The best thing I could do this morning would be to go down to the public garden and kill the frickin' Swans. Who writes frickin' on Facebook? Do not throw the rock. It isn't their fault he left. That was an experiment, you going out with Jimmy.
It was not an experiment.
It was an experiment. You tried it and it didn't work out.
Ellie drops the rock on the ground and sits again. Violet sits next to her and tries to put her arm around Ellie's shoulder.
None of that.
I thought maybe you needed a hug. I didn't mean anything.
You were the experiment, Vi, not Jimmy.
We were together 2 years and that's an experiment.
Then we broke up. And I was all set up to marry Jimmy.
You tried and it didn't work.
So you hear Jimmy left. You drove down here from Haverhill because you think maybe all of a sudden I'm going to be,
I drove down because you kill these Swans, they're going to lock you up.
I'm feeding them.
You definitely didn't poison the bread?
What kind of a person you think I am?
I don't know, but they're keeping their distance now. See what you did?
For the reception, my mother was going to have us put swans on the wedding cake. Instead of man and wife, 2 swans kissing, And she wanted this ice sculpture of swans, only with their bodies all filled up with like honeydew melon.
That's nice.
It's not nice. You know how long an ice sculpture's gonna last? You get a swan with a melted neck and a gut full of melon. That's supposed to be romantic? What a stupid woman. A stupid woman with a stupid idea.
It's because they mate for life.
Oh, that's the other thing. The internet is completely wrong.
What are you talking about?
Swans mating for life. Not true.
That's supposed to be like a scientific fact.
Well, the scientists forgot the detail that all swans pretty much look alike. They assumed it was always the same 2 swans. They screw around like everybody else, the little bastards.
Where'd you hear this?
From Jimmy,
Was he, you know?
his upstairs neighbor,
Oh, I met that one. I hate her.
and his downstairs neighbor.
No,
Yeah.
I hate her too.
Oh, and that one across the street from him and does a top when she tans.
At least now you know.
Oh, and the counter girl at Duncan's with the side ponytail.
Her.
Her mother.
Jesus.
I said, we're supposed to get married Thanksgiving. We're supposed to have swans on the wedding cake. Well, Ellie, you may not be aware of this, but swans, contrary to popular blah, blah, blah. He saw it on the internet.
Yeah, it's just what they're like.
So he says, you frickin' lousy role models.
I mean, men, Ellie. It's what they're like. He was an experiment. He tried.
Listen, Vi.
Where's
Okay.
Jimmy right now? He must have seen Facebook, right? He knew what you were going to do, and where is he? Did he come down here to make sure you didn't do something terrible?
I would have thrown the rock at him.
He would have deserved it. Come here.
Violet sits again. Ellie sits near her this time.
You said you thought we shouldn't be together. You met this guy, Jimmy, and you thought maybe things were going to be different. It didn't work out.
Why'd you let me try?
Because I know about us. I know how I feel about you. I figured you go ahead, try being with a guy, but it's not going to be the last. It's not going to last because I know how you feel about me.
She puts her arms around Ellie's shoulder.
I don't think you and me should.
These swans, I look them up. They're called Romeo and Juliet.
You looked on the internet.
Well, this one's true.
Well, Juliet's lucky there's just the two of them because Romeo would be flapping around with all the others.
They're both girls.
What are you talking about?
Seriously, two girl swans. They've been together like 10 years.
How do they know this? Swans pretty much all look alike.
They're the same pair.
No kidding. Massachusetts, right?
I don't know about mating for life, but 10 years. I figure that's pretty good for swans. They know how they feel about each other.
I guess they do.
Give me some of that.
Well, I scared them off. They're not going to want any bread.
Give me some.
Ellie gives Violet some bread. Violet stands and walks to the edge of the water. Ellie stands and walks to a spot beside her.
You drove all the way from Haverhill just so I wouldn't do something stupid?
Yeah, I did. Look, 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 look. They're coming in.
She's about to toss bread to them. Ellie blocks her arm.
Maybe I better not do that.
Why not? No. You didn't really. Did you?
Of course I didn't. What kind of a person you think I am?
Ellie slips her hand into Violet's. Blackout. End of play.
It's not time to make a change. Just relax, take it easy. Toss it.
Switching Sides by Terry McFadden. Directed by Rob Salerno. Cast of characters: Freddie, played by Terry McFadden, and Mikey, played by Mickey Dolan. The setting: a stark and empty stage. Behind it and above is a window frame, some shrubbery below, a small bench. Freddie Fiedler, late 40s, wearing a baseball cap, holding a baseball glove and ball, could be a tennis ball, winds up and mocks pitching. The ball falls to the ground, and as he moves to retrieve it, it is apparent that he walks with an obvious limp. He picks it up and returns to a pitching stance.
Hit a bar, hit a bay, here we go. Hit a bar, hit a bay, here we go. Hit a bar. It's 2-2 tomorrow, and Fielder looks confident. Yep. Steady Freddie Fielder winds up. There's the pitch, right down the middle. What an arm on this kid. What an arm on this kid. With 2 men on and in starting position, the catcher, Juan Taker, scratches his crotch. Yeah, well, that's the signal only Fielder knows.
Mikey Fiedler, 18, enters upstage left but veers downstage left. Appears to be an athletic-looking teen, cool clothes, rather hip, but with a playful wit about him.
Hey, Mikey, hey, where the hell are you going? Get over here, will you?
I'm coming already. Don't get a hard on.
Hey, I'll get a hard on if I want to get a hard on. When it comes to you throwing those balls around, a hard on is what I will have.
Well, then you better pull your shirt down over it.
Yeah, all right. Okay, come on, let's do this. I want to get you ready for the Flaming Arrows on Saturday.
Nah, they're pansies.
Yeah, well, sometimes pansies can fool you. Assume the position. What am I telling you?
Later. It's time for the Food Channel. The Curtsian Culinarian is preparing a bourguignon fondue.
Hey, I got your fondue right here. Now skip on over, huh?
He tosses in the glove and the ball. They score off as they must have hundreds of times before and begin to play catch.
Now, where the hell you been?
Kicking it with Brandon.
You know, you're playing with him way too much. I'm starting to wonder about you two.
Well, if it will ease your mind, we only kiss and make out after we're done pitching and catching.
Yeah, that eases it. I will say, though, he does have a pretty good mitt on him back there.
Yeah, he could take everything I throw his way.
But I think he's giving you the wrong signals. You know, I mean, he leans way in too close to the stick. He's right under those guys sometime.
It's just something we worked out depending on the batter. He's better with the switch hitters, and that's why we're so great together.
No, why don't you just marry the guy?
You gonna walk me down the aisle?
Always the jokester, huh? But let me ask you something, Mikey. I mean, really now. Is he okay?
He's as okay as I am, and I'm as okay as he is, and we're okay together. Okay?
I mean, that weird crotch behind the plate. I mean, the way he prances out to the mound, it's like he's wiggling to you.
Because he's also a dancer. Dancers wiggle.
Oh, do they? I just get a funny feeling he's playing for the other team. You know what I mean?
Well, Brandon and I play on the same team.
Not for long, Mikey. Big changes are coming, buddy.
Bigger changes are here.
Hey, you still didn't open that letter from Mifflin University, Department of Collegiate Athletics. Get on it, buddy. What am I telling you?
Oh, we went over to Ashford Culinary Arts School on Tuesday just to suss the place out.
You know, I bet it's an offer. Could be that scholarship you wanted.
Those boys, they really know how to spin a casserole, and it's local. I'd love to open a little hash house someday. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to grill you, Mikey, but right now your cooking's going to be done on the mound. Let's stay focused, huh?
We'll make you the head dishwasher.
Yeah. Does that mean I have to scrub pots on my knees?
Yeah, but you get to squirt the waitresses in the ass with your long hose.
I'm in. We'll do it right after you make a name for yourself. Right now, we got other fish to fry, namely Mifflin University.
You know, I've never been a big fan of fish.
Better call him, Mike. September's coming.
Well, we still have a lot of games to play here. And Brandon and I, we want to...
Come on. No. Nonsense. After you break the arrows on Saturday, you're wrapped. You're done. You're a really good pitcher, Mikey. You've been scouted by more than one team, and they know this.
Let's not jump on the bus before it gets here, Dad. I mean, they're a big school. It could be a see you later letter.
No, hell no. There's no rejection for the son of Steady Freddie Fielder. It's a scholarship. Mike Fielder, the starting pitcher at Mifflin. I'll promote the games over to Sporting Goods Store. We'll rent campers. We'll go up to see you sticking to them. What am I telling you, Mikey?
You opened the letter, didn't you?
Who? Me? Letter? What?
Hey, you? Sneaky Freddie Fielder, huh?
Open your mail? Mikey. Huh?
Come on. How
What?
are things? Tell me everything.
All right. I'm sorry, Mikey. Mikey, I'm just so excited. I mean, they want you. They want you, Mikey. Forgive me, buddy. Huh?
Yeah. It's okay, Dad. I get it. I do. But I'm just not. I mean, the thing is, I like baseball and all of that, but
You love baseball. You are the best pitcher to come out of Cream County since. Well, what would have been me if I didn't get run down by that car full of Harry Christians in the Acme parking lot. Anyway, the important thing, Mikey, is that you
I signed up over at Ashford.
accept their offer. You what? You what? Mikey, enough with the jokes, okay? This is your future we're talking about, huh?
It's not a joke. I'm not kidding. I really want to do the cooking thing right now. I mean, open our own place.
You're going to Mufflin.
Dad, I thought we were partners in these things.
We are.
That we agree on everything that's going to go on.
We do, but
There's no but. I mean, not that butts are bad. I like a good butt. But I need you to let me have a say in what I want to do and how it's going to play out.
I know. I mean, I do. The idea, it's just culinary arts. Jeez, Mikey, listen to you. I mean, that kind of thing is for
Sissies? Well, then I guess I'm a sissy.
no, you're a baseball player.
No, we're a baseball player.
Mikey, you're just not thinking straight.
Now you're catching on.
Listen, I'm going to go over there right now, over to Ashford. I'm going to take care of all this right now.
Sorry, Dad, it's not your call to make.
You sending me down in the showers, Mikey, all we've been through?
Mikey moves past Freddie, sits on the bench, and looks up at him as Freddie limps about.
Dad, I need you to listen to me for just a moment, okay? I really appreciate everything you've done for me all these years. The baseball camps, practicing pitching with me, getting me in shape, taking care of me, and so I could concentrate on the game. You really... I wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for you.
I've been where you are, son, and I know what this is. Now, we're a team, you and I, okay? We are on the same side, Mikey.
Are we?
Yeah. Mikey, you have a genuine and true shot at being a real, live, professional baseball player, to be seen by millions and millions, and to show the country, to show the world, to show everybody
That steady Freddie Fielder is back in the game.
Is that what you think this is? You think all I care about is my own scorecard?
Sometimes. Dad, you had a tough break with your baseball career, and I feel terrible about that. But I'm not you.
I know you're not me. I know that. But you could really be something.
And I will. But it has to be something that I want.
I guess I've been a little bit rough on you, huh? But you know, it doesn't have to be an either or, does it? You could do both. You could be a double threat, Mikey, huh? Sure, yeah. Here's what we'll do. You take some courses over at Mufflin. You work part-time in a rib joint or something off season, something like that. Keep it going, huh? Do them both. Give it a shot.
The thing is that I don't want to be steady Freddie Fielder II. I want to be Mikey Fielder. That is Mike Fielder.
I'm only saying don't count it out, okay? That's all I'm saying. What am I
Brandon,
telling?
He's taking business courses so that we can actually
Oh,
open.
but what is this with this Brandon business all the time? Brandon this, Brandon that. Everywhere you go, it's Brandon. What are you, in love with this guy or something?
Yes, I am.
I'm not laughing, Mike.
I'm not joking, Dad.
Come on. What do you mean? You don't mean, you're not telling me that you're, that
Swings from the other side of the plate. I am. I'm gay. And it's okay to say, Dad.
come on, Mikey. Mikey, get hold of yourself a little bit, huh? Just like that? I mean, where was I when all of this was going on?
Turning me into a baseball star.
They trying to get back at me for something? For having you play ball all these years?
No, I'm trying to show you who I am. You've been so obsessed with me playing baseball that you ignored or made fun of all the signs. You knew it, Dad, and you know you did.
I didn't know anything.
You didn't want to know anything that is this thing. You wanted a follow-up of steady Freddie Fielder. Well, I am that, but it might not be the one that you were thinking of.
Listen, you're just confused at the moment. That's all. You're confused. This will end. We all go through.
I'm sure of it, and I don't want it to end.
You're only 18. I mean, what could you know? It's just a thing. I mean, you dated Nancy Dart for 6 months.
7, and that's because her mom taught me how to cook a great beef broccoli. But Dad, I know how you must feel.
Do you
I don't expect you to.
understand?
I mean, you are the all-American boy.
I don't know what I am, Mikey. I mean, Mike. Yeah, I got to tell you, like, there's a skeleton or two hiding in my closet as well, son.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Well, sometimes even all American boys can stray.
But what are you telling me, Dad?
Okay, well, all right. We all, that is, listen, I mean, look, everybody have a lot, people at one time or another have had these questions. We all have, you're not the only one with people have this, it's uncertainty that is these type of, these feelings, these
Sex feelings?
yeah, these same sex feelings. You get it.
Of course. And then they realize they're gay and they live a gay life.
But not always, not always. I mean, that is this type of, this confusion, this uncertainty. Oh, what am I saying?
What are you telling me? Dad, have you ever played for the other team?
Oh, all right. Okay. You see, after my leg got mangled, I had a lot of time to really sit down and take a look at things. You know, I had to, Mike, I really had to look hard at things that I never allowed myself to deal with at that time.
You did. You did. Did you?
There was this dude named Chip in my business marketing class. Yeah, I called him the Chipster. We had a lot in common, except he was a Phillies fan.
Chip? Well, that should have clued you in right there.
Yeah, I thought it was a simple and harmless crush, this weird fixation and enchantment, you know, so just, well, one thing led to another, led to.
You had a homosexual affair.
Keep it down. Keep it down.
It's okay, Dad. I understand and I love you anyway. Wait, whoa. Was it steady, Freddie?
Just for a little while, but I was confused. I mean, we both were. I mean, I got scared and I backed off, and so.
But you did have a thing with another man.
Yeah, I guess I did. I stepped up into the box and swung away.
Wow. I never would have. How did the series end?
Well, we played it out. Yeah, we realized it was just a thing. He moved on and opened a sporting goods line in Norfolk, Virginia, and gives me a great price on jock straps and ski caps. What are we gonna do, Mikey? What are we gonna do about your deal, Mike?
Play it out, I guess, like you said. Just see what happens.
But we don't have to let it influence your future, your career.
This is my future.
Maybe just think of it as another tough game, Mikey. What am I telling you?
The games are over.
I understand, I do, I guess. And I support you, Mike, no matter what you want to do. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a bit disappointed. I put some time in on this too, and I would be lying about muffling, that is. I'm not about the other thing. But listen, Mike, I mean, is there any way you and I can work this out? Can we come to some kind of agreement here? Something, huh?
Mikey moves to Freddie and kisses him on the top of the head.
I love you, Dad.
He puts down the glove and ball and exits.
Where you going? Hey, Mikey, where you going, Mike? Come on, we can still toss it around a little while, huh? Why, it's still light out, Mike. Come on, let's keep going though. I mean, Mikey, you know, there's always next year or the year after that. It doesn't have to be. We can work, Mikey. We'll work on it here and there, Mike. Nothing has to be. I mean, come right down a pipe, right down a pipe, boys. Right down. We got to. People, I just want them to see that you are the son of. You are the son. You're the son of Steady Freddie. What am I saying?
Freddie drops the glove as the ball falls and rolls. End of play. Tahiti by James Masten, directed by Brad Howard. Cast of characters: Stanley, played by Mark Lanham, Aidan, played by Bjorn Bolinder, and Patrick, played by Thomas Godfrey. Setting, time, a rent-controlled apartment in the West Village, New York City. Stanley, in his 80s, is sitting on the sofa reading a print copy of The Village Voice when Aidan, 20s, enters.
They're closing the Art Greenwich.
I never heard of it. I didn't get bananas.
Well, of course you have. The movie house on the corner of 12th Street.
Like hell.
What's this world coming to?
Just bananas. Don't be such a drama queen.
Well, they're turning it into a gymnasium.
You mean the Equinox? It's been there for 15 years. How old is that paper you're reading?
That's where I saw Suddenly last summer with Montgomery Clift.
Was he another one of your boyfriends? It's hard to keep them all straight. Is that what you're wearing?
Well, yes.
I thought you would want to put something nicer on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I start dressing for our visits? How about this? I'll wear something a little nicer if you wear something a little skimpier.
Stanley, did you forget you're going out to lunch today?
We are.
No, you are.
I am? With who?
You even listen to a word I say?
I must admit, when you're wiping my butt, my thoughts do tend to wander.
I don't wipe your butt, Stanley. The agency does not pay me enough for that.
I imagine I'm in Tahiti.
You have a guest coming over?
On the beach with a strapping young officer.
He'll be here any minute, so you might want to change. I laid out some clothes. Here, put this on.
Oh, so forceful. Yes, sir.
Stanley changes his clothes and Aidan gently assists him.
Oh, there you go again, tearing my clothes off, you masher.
Hey, what did you eat for dinner last night? Did you have the quinoa salad that Emily left for you?
Quinoa? I don't know what that is.
You should eat it. It's full of protein.
That sounds like a martial art. Quinoa?
You'll eat it tonight. I'll tell Emily you loved it.
Who, darling?
Emily, my girlfriend.
Your what?
You know darn well who Emily is. You've met her several times. She was here the other day.
I thought that was a man in a dress.
I'm going to ignore that. Emily likes you, although I can't imagine why.
Well, it's okay, darling. You can come out to me.
For the 100th time, Stanley, I'm not gay.
Oh, no, of course you're not. Who would imply such a thing? You're a straight man who comes to my apartment every couple of days to undress me. Oh, there have been so many over the years.
I'm your home health aide, Stanley.
You know, you remind me of him, my officer in Tahiti. He had deep brown eyes like yours and broad shoulders. How I loved looking into his eyes with my legs wrapped around those shoulders.
Stanley, TMI! So, about your lunch.
Oh, did you set me up with some young sailor from your university?
Oh, he's your age.
Oh, he's 49, huh?
You've got underwear that's older than 49.
I'm not into older men, darling.
I think he's 84.
Or necrophilia. Is he even gay?
I don't know. I never thought about it.
I'm going on a date with an old straight man. Lucky me.
I guess he could be. He wears one of those things around his neck.
They're called ties, darling.
No. Shorter than that.
A bow tie?
I know what a bow tie is. They're puffy.
Oh, a cravat. Well, he must be gay then. We all wear them. It's a signal to let each other know who's in the club.
Really?
Oh, yes. We have a secret handshake, too.
Wow. Show me.
Okay, but you'll have to drop your pants first.
There is a knock at the door.
That must be him. You get it.
And why do I have a houseboy if I have to answer my own door?
Stanley heads to door.
And be nice to him.
When am I not nice?
As Stanley opens the door,
My grandfather.
to reveal Patrick wearing a cravat.
Well, you must be Patrick.
Yes. Stan?
The one and only. Stanley Livingston, star of stage and screen, currently between productions. Rumored beau of Montgomery Clift. Well, welcome to my humble flat.
You knew he was coming all along?
Of course I did. You told me, remember?
But you were acting like...
This young man is a godsend. And his lovely girlfriend, Emily, I don't know what I'd do without them. Now, please have a seat. You must be so proud of him, although you're hardly old enough to be his father.
I'm his grandfather, Stan.
No, I don't believe it.
Yes, his father is my son.
Well, if you insist, so the two of you would have the same last name. And your name is Healy.
Yeah, you know my last name, Stanley.
And that must mean
I'm Patrick Healy.
petty officer Patrick Healy?
That's right.
Wait a minute. You two know each other?
Aiden, help me into a chair. I'm feeling a little faint.
How is that possible, Granddad?
Oh, we surfed together on the USS Iowa.
I need a glass of water.
But when you said you wanted to meet Stanley, you didn't tell me that you knew him already.
Would you get me a glass of water?
We were friends. You remember me, don't you, Stan?
Oh, well, I had lots of friends in the Navy.
We were very close.
Oh, were we? Well, I'm sorry. I'm so forgetful. Why, earlier today, I forgot what quinoa was.
Aiden, I want you to know that Stanley and I were friends before I married your grandmother.
Okay, why would that matter?
Betty,
You knew my grandmother?
she was my best friend. I would sneak into her cabin and we would fool around for hours,
Stanley, no.
playing cards for cigarettes.
Oh, Grandma smoked?
Aiden sits between the two.
Everybody smoked back then.
Whist and hearts and gin rummy.
Canasta, bridge.
Crazy eights.
And we would laugh. I was always sure we'd get caught. Her laugh was so deep it shook the cabin walls.
It could fill a room all right.
And wrap around you like love.
Eddie died 3 years ago.
Oh, Patrick. I'm so sorry.
What did you two laugh about?
Boys, what else? We made up names for all the fellows on the ships. There was Captain Ahab and the Maestro.
Oh, let me guess, Lieutenant Giletti.
He flayed his arms, barking orders like he was conducting a symphony.
So what did you call me?
Officer Brown Eyes.
That's not very funny.
Who could make up a nasty name for him? He was dreamy. I never told her about us, Patrick.
I did.
You two were.
She knew about Tahiti?
Oh, wow.
You were never in Tahiti, Stan.
That cabin on the beach where we made love.
Maybe I should go.
That was an ammunition shed on the Incheon River, Korea.
Well, there were explosions that night.
Yeah, I just remembered I have another thing to do now.
Yes, there certainly were.
So I'll be back in a couple hours.
Could be again.
Or better yet, I'll stop by tomorrow in the afternoon, late in the afternoon.
Aiden exits.
Well, maybe not explosions.
We'll see about that.
Tahitian exit music. End of play. Okay, everyone, we're back. Thank you all. That was a great reading. If everyone would like to turn their videos on, we would love to see you for the Q&A. And I am going to do a little unofficial curtain call, which we like to do every reading, and thank our amazing actors and directors, starting with the first play with Natalie Bovis, Myri Chanel. The second play, we had Terry McFadden and Mickey Dolan. Third play,
Video's not working.
Excuse me?
My video's not working.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll see if we can get it to work. Mark Lanham, Bjorn Bolinder, and Tom Godfrey. And I wanted to thank our directors, Brad Howard, Duchess Dale, and Rob Salerno for participating in the reading today. And I am going to announce our readings for August 30th. That's 2 weeks from today. The three plays that we're going to be doing. First one is called Remembering When I Used to Remember, which is by Provincetown, Massachusetts, playwright Patrick Riviere. That's going to be directed by New York director Evan Edwards, starring Santa Fe actor Marty Madden and New York actor Kyle Merker. Then we're going to be reading Boxes by Pamela Kingsley from Rochester, New York, directed by Brad Howard from Albuquerque, with Jane Wilson from Albuquerque and Marguerite Louise Scott from Santa Fe. And Toppers by Brett Hersey, who's from Farmville, Virginia, directed by Duchess Dale from Santa Fe, with Santa Fe actors Jeff Nell and Myri Chanel. This program is going to be co-presented by the Santa Fe Memory Care Alliance, and they're a service in Santa Fe that provides support groups and resources to those dealing with issues around memory loss and Alzheimer's. Two of the three plays in the program on August 30th deal with these issues and how they relate to the LGBTQ community. And David Davis, who's the executive director of that organization, is going to be joining our discussion. So we're really looking forward to that. And without further ado, we are going to start our discussion. How this works is we're going to go through each play as they were performed, I'm going to give a little intro to the playwright, and then we're going to talk for a little bit. And if any of the actors and directors want to jump in, we would really love to hear from you. If you do have a question for the playwrights or anyone else, you can do a few things. You can click in the participant section, the hand raise, and I will see your hand go up. That's a little icon that's a hand, and I'll see you. You can also just put your hand up if your video's on, and I'll scroll through and see you. And if all else fails, you can just jump in. All has worked in past readings, so feel free. We would love for you to join us. And we would like to join.
I would love to join too. Could you put my video on, Aaron?
Sure, Freddie. Hold on. Actually, you're
Thank
not.
you.
You're not Terry. There you go. I don't know why that was a little bit of an issue today, but you should go on. There you go.
Aaron,
so we're going to start.
Turn mine on either, Aaron.
Hi, Ken.
It won't let me turn mine on either. It says host as.
That's okay.
There we go.
I can't go through all the people in hi Ken. Palm Springs, appropriate background. If people want to be seen, just ask me, maybe at an appropriate time so we don't interrupt our speakers. But I'm going to start with our first play, A Monogamy of Swans, and I would like John Minigan to join us. John, are you here?
Yes, hello.
Hi, John. Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Met, right?
Great work. Great work.
Yeah.
Thank you to the acting
have a good cast and director.
Hey.
So just to give a little intro, I'm just going to read some highlights from these bios. And also just to say, even though I'm only reading the playwrights' bios today, I am listing the bios for all the directors and actors that are participating in these readings on the Almost Adults Facebook page. We just don't have time to read them all now. But if you want to find out more about who's participating, you can just go on that Facebook page, and everyone's posted. You just have to scroll through the different posts. John Minigan, he is a 1919-20 Massachusetts Cultural Council Artist Fellow in Dramatic Writing. He is the 2020 winner of the New American Voices Festival. His full-length play, Noir Hamlet, was an Edge Media Best of Boston Theater 2018 selection. He was the 2019 Elliot Norton nominee for Outstanding New Script, and was produced at the Scotland's Edinburgh Fringe in 2019. His work has also been included in the Best American Short Plays, Best 10-Minute Short Plays, and New England New Plays Anthology. He is a member of the he is a Dramatist Guild Ambassador and Eastern New Englander. So thank you, John. It's great to have you. And of course, one of the reasons that your play appealed, one of the many reasons it appealed to me was, of course, the setting. Growing up in Boston, I'm very familiar with the Commons and thought it was a beautiful setting for this play. And I'm just curious why you selected that setting, how you felt it fit into the story that you wanted to tell and the themes that you wanted to present.
Yeah, it's interesting. The play sort of started with the idea that swans look alike. And so how do you know whether swans are truly monogamous or not, which was, I was canoeing and kept seeing these two swans and kept wondering, like, are they the same swans or are they a different pair of swans? So the play went through a lot of changes for a 10-minute play. It was originally going to be about swan researchers, and suddenly I realized that it felt like a very Boston story. And I spent a lot of time, I love Boston, and I spent a lot of time walking at the public garden. And of course, the swan boats and Romeo and Juliet, who are both girls, they're both female swans, and they have been together at this point for about 12 or 13 years. It just seemed like all those pieces wrapped the story up together really beautifully.
I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about, Ellie's history, and just about, a lot of not too many of the plays that we received or that I received as submissions deal with bisexuality or with, people that partner with, various genders. It seems to be the plays I was getting are very much about, very specific gender relationships, same sex. And I'm just curious why you chose to explore that as part of her history.
Right, and it came about mostly because of the setting. I think that, Boston has this reputation for being a very open-minded and liberal city, and it's really not. And I sort of felt like Ellie at a certain point, facing family issues and family, how did her family feel about the fact that she was together with Vi? And was there pressure from mom to, find a guy, meet a guy? Okay, I will do that. Maybe that's me. And it's interesting that at about the time that I was writing the play, my daughter, who had been in a relationship for 2.5 years with a guy, broke up with him and then came out. And it was really like, oh, so like maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, these are things that I was thinking about also, and thinking about in a personal way. My daughter, by the way, has the line, no kid in Massachusetts, right? Tattooed inside her left arm.
Oh, okay. Well, that's commitment, right? I would love to hear from Duchess. Are you there? I'm going to start your video if you.
I am. I'm video
Excellent.
now. I think I am.
Yeah, I
was
asked to start your video, so you should.
Oh, I was. Okay.
Okay, let me try again. There you
Try
go.
again.
So Duchess is our director, and what was your, there you go. What was your response to the play when you read it, and what appealed to you about wanting to direct it?
I was charmed by it because I loved the fact that it did represent bisexuality, but a deeper relationship between the two women that I felt was a wonderful metaphor with the Swans, and I loved the humor of it. And I had two wonderful actresses to flesh it out into something wonderful. So, thank you, John. I really enjoyed the piece.
Oh, thank you for your work, and great accents too, I wanted to say.
They kind of did it effortlessly. Like,
yeah.
Boston accents are actually not easy to do. And, I'm from Boston, I'm from Newton, so I actually don't have an accent. But, if you watch like Good Will Hunting, they do a really good job with Boston accents in that movie. Other movies I watch, I'm like, you can hear the struggle with it. And there are certain words that are just challenging with it. But Myri and Natalie are pros, and they just picked it up and jumped right in. Speaking of them, if you're still on the call, if either of you, if our actresses would like to say anything about how you connected to these characters.
I will say that it was really, it was neat to see a play that does even like acknowledge that bisexuality exists as part of that community. We don't get a whole lot of visibility. So it was really, really, so that just on its own was fun. But also doing the Boston accent was fun. I just went there for the first time at the end of last year. So, and it was awesome, but also very cold. So I don't know, it was a very fun little piece to work on. I thought the dialogue was real sharp, and that's always good.
I did too. Aaron, my video went off.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna get to it. This is obviously something I need to resolve for.
It was on and then it went off. I don't know. But anyway, John, I was really flattered when Aaron sent the script over, because I thought it was really such a nice piece. Up there, hi, I'm back. It was such a nice piece and so well written. Thank you for not saying I absolutely murdered the Boston accent, because
yeah, not at all.
definitely not something I was terribly confident about. But I tried to just like listen to a lot of things and try to, not completely murder it. So thank you. Had a lot of fun working with Myri and Duchess on it too. But I really loved, that snappy bit that we worked on a lot in rehearsal, like the upstairs, the downstairs too, and the buddy, like that whole, just the whole piece moved along so nicely. A really sweet story. And yeah, I loved playing that character. So if you ever do a longer play of it, you have to read it. I'm not saying you have to cast me.
I'll send it over.
You have to read it.
But you should.
I'm not fishing for a cast. I'm just saying I'd love to read it.
Great.
The first time that I heard Natalie's, the first time I heard your accent, Natalie, I thought you were actually from Boston. I was like, shit.
There you
Thank
go.
you. That's really nice of you to say. I appreciate it.
I was like, well, now I have to learn it, because
I'm sure someone from Boston would disagree, but thanks for that. No, but it was really such a sweet script, so thank you.
Well, and also, of course, when you're dealing with any accents, it's like always like, where in Boston are you from? And certain accents are different, but for these purposes, it worked great. I thought your accents were right on the money, as was your characterizations were really came to life for us. So thank you. Do we have any questions for John? You can, if your video isn't on, just shout and I'll turn you on if you have a question, or if you want to put the hand raise we can get to you.
Yes, there's a
Going once, going
Yeah,
twice.
There's
user
someone waving
Rose.
her hand.
Yeah,
Rose's
microphone
yeah.
is off, but
Rose, oh, okay, you're free to speak, I think. There you go.
no.
I'm trying. You need subtitles, Rose. We can't, it's not, I keep pressing unmute and it's not turning on. So, you know what, we'll come back to you. You might turn on later. Sometimes there's a delay.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Yes, there was a place for me to click on unmute and I didn't read it. Anyway, it was right in the middle of everything. I was saying that I did miss the fact that this was on Zoom for this particular play, because I would have liked to be able to have the two women reach out for each other and actually have an arm come over to the other one. And that, of course, is not something you can do very well with Zoom. So I missed that. But I thought that the relationship was developing very well and could have even been better with real live movements.
Yeah, we're kind of limited to what we can work with at this point, but I actually am really enjoying working in this format. There are other benefits to it, I'm finding. It can't replace live theater, of course, but it's what we have to work with at this point. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you all, great work. We're gonna move on to Terry McFadden's play, Switching Sides. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Terry. Terry is a playwright that is from Los Angeles, although he's currently in Pennsylvania. He's been produced about, it says hundreds of times in theaters.
100.
Huh?
About 100.
About 100 in the United States and abroad, winning several awards, including the Raymond Flores Award for Best One-Act Play of the Year. He has written several short scripts, screenplays, and TV pilots, and is the founder of Story Builder's Script Doctor and Writing Services, where he is dedicated to helping screenwriters and TV writers find and hone their own unique voice. And you have a unique voice yourself, so we'll be thrilled to hear more about you. Terry, for one thing, I just wanted to ask you, you were really interested in acting in your own play, and I'm curious if that's something that you've done before or like to do or have had experience with, or what interested you about playing this character?
Well, I started as an actor,
Okay.
very young, an actor and a musician. So I've always been into the performing side of things. But what interested me in this particular play was the objective that I had in writing this was to bring out the little kid in the dad, and to bring out, you know, how the kid himself supersedes him in age. But I really wanted to get at the idea that the dad was stunted in his growth because of what was going on. And I wanted to just make the universal idea of, I think everybody at 17, 16, 17 has a talk with their parent about what they really want to do with their life, about what's going on. And it happened to me. This is a semblance of what I didn't want to be a cook. I wanted to do something else, but where you have that talk, and then you have to put on personas. So this whole play was about stripping down a persona at 18 years old and revealing the persona of a 48-year-old man at the same time, who just can't shake the persona, even at the end. So I like to get at the universal issues in all my plays, childhood issues.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's like a duo coming out story, which we don't really see very often. I can't think of a play or too many plays or films that do that. And yet, you know, it's, for me, it was very much about generations, and you have the son that's very comfortable with who he is, and the dad is still in many ways working on it, you know, at the same time. And we talked a little bit in rehearsal about what was happening now with acceptance, you know, for the LGBTQ community. And I guess, is that something that you were interested in looking at in terms of the two generations, how different it was for the father than the son?
Well, I mean, there's always that. That was a part of that. But as I mentioned during rehearsal, I wanted to treat that aspect of it as just every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think in 2020 that should be an issue that should be contended with to such an extreme. I wanted to make it every day. I wanted to make it just something that he's going through. I wanted to make it that the dad understands this. And depending on the direction, this play could have gone two different ways. Was it a tactic that Freddie was just saying that he went through this too to get the kid to go play baseball? Or did it really happen? So there's two ways of doing it. And yet again, that's another layer of Freddie lying to just get what he wants. The persona of the 48-year-old man who did not get past 20 when he busted up his leg. So I always like to get back to looking at the issues from a generational aspect, just to see the difference of it and just to bring it back home.
Rob, I'd love to bring you on to talk about your reactions to the play when you read it and what interested you in directing it.
I think, you know, a lot of what you guys just talked about, to be honest. I think there are some really, like you said, you don't really see this sort of like mutual coming out story a lot. And I think there are just some really interesting moments of connection and honesty in the script that I really wanted to see come out. And I think Terry and Mickey did such a great job with it. You know, I think it's so universal to have this, to have these expectations of your children and to feel as a child that you're not living up to the expectations that your parents have set for you, and the guilt that comes out of that, and the need to carve your own path, and the way and the tension between those two sort of forces in your life, I feel is such an interesting thing to explore. And I think this this play just does it so well in such a, like, you know, short little moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you can accomplish in a 10-minute play or 15-minute play, however long this was, and really get all the elements, beginning, middle, and end, character development in such a short time, and Terry does it brilliantly. Mickey, do you want to jump in and talk about how you worked on this character of Mikey and almost namesake?
I know, right? I think Terry, Rob, you guys touched on it perfectly. I just want to say what an honor it was to perform opposite of the playwright. I feel like that's a pretty rare occurrence.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you to Rob too for the great direction. And I feel like we broke some good ground on this play, and I'm just very grateful to be a part of it.
Thank you.
Nice work, Mickey.
Yeah, excellent work. And just to mention, Rob is also a actor and playwright and screenwriter and journalist and activist, and we're going to be doing one of his plays later in the fall. So look for that. Do we have any questions for Terry or the caster director?
Yes.
Okay, I hear a yes. I don't know where it's coming from.
That was Myri.
Hi, Myri.
Yeah, my primary one was just, how dare you break my heart at the end there? Who do you think you are? Like the part where he's just like talking to himself, trailing off. I was like, oh, I wasn't ready to have my soul crushed quite like that. So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know. It's a good compliment for a writer, right? It's like, you've hurt me.
So
yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm happy.
Good.
Thank you so much.
I think that's also just going to be such a beautiful moment when you can see it performed on stage, and when the actor is just there alone. I think that's going to be so beautiful to be seen.
Yeah. Has this play been performed? Sorry?
The use of the hat. It's a baseball hat after all. And yes, you were changing its position depending on just how much you were communicating baseball to the sun. That's what I got out of that anyway.
No, you're exactly right. I tried to get some of the emotional life out of it as naturally as I could in there. But with the Zoom, I had in my head, well, I got the ball, I got this, I can make, and I said, well, now we got to bring it down. And I just said, let's just see if we can customize it with some hat tricks, because it is a sporting event. We do some hat tricks.
Oh, nicely done.
Thank you.
Terry, has this play been performed before live?
This play has been actually published in.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Yeah.
In a book somewhere in my.
Okay.
Over there. It's over there somewhere.
Got it. We trust you. Okay.
It's there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, we hope there's an opportunity to perform it live as well. So that's great. Any other comments? I heard something.
The baseball puns are amazing.
Yeah.
I love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to use them sparingly, but still. Thanks.
Okay. We're going to, if there aren't any other comments for Terry, we're going to move on to our last play, Tahiti, James Masten. James, his full-length play Survivors was the inaugural Michael Warren Powell Memorial Reading for the 29th Street Playwrights Collective, and was included in their 2017 New Work Series. This play, by the way, with the same cast, was actually performed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the same cast performed at the LGBT Center in New York for Gay Pride in 2017. His other plays include Not Guilty, Patty Shortcake, A Group. He is the author of Aging with HIV, A Gay Man's Guide, published by the Oxford University Press. And he practices psychotherapy in Lower Manhattan. Interestingly, he is currently working with Santa Fe resident Martha Crawford, adopting her Trump Dreams project for the stage. And I'm very interested to hear more about that, as I'm sure we all are. Very timely, if nothing else. But of course, there's a lot else to say about it. So James, thank you. So this play was done was it the Village Playwrights Festival?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and that festival has been around forever, because I went to it 30 years ago and it'd been around for a long time then. So
yeah, it's a great group. It's a lot of fun, and it was great. It was for Gay Pride, and this was and it was wonderful to get to see this cast read it.
Yeah,
because they just brought it to life.
Yes,
and it was a lot of fun.
James, I've always been interested. Well, I've taken to like later in life romances, and it's something that in LGBTQ theater we don't see often enough. I think, really, in any theater or films, it's better than it was. But that's part of the things that one of the reasons I really took to this, other than the fact that you have all these great New York references that I remember from New York. But I think it's a really touching story about later in life romance and making these connections again that we had later on. And I think it's interesting to talk about this at this point in time, where a lot of people are isolating and they're reaching out to people that they once connected with a long time ago. I've been seeing that happen, reconnecting. But I'm curious to hear about just your process in writing this. If you want to share anything about your inspiration.
I always wanted to write a romantic comedy. So I figured, octogenarians you can't do better than that. But I also was, years ago, I was a social worker working with gay elders. And I used to visit that whole generation. I was a very young social worker, and I worked with these older gay men, and I would visit them in their homes. I would hear their stories. And I've heard all these stories about these men and women who lived at a time before before coming out was a thing, because before there was gay pride, and before these phenomena existed, and their identities. And it was fascinating because they had identities that were about their sexuality, but it was very different than the identity that many younger people carry. And so that group is now getting really up there. And so I wanted to give them a little voice.
Well, and I think, mentioning about the stories of elders is something that's, really important right now as we're trying to record these stories of people that while they're still around, before they disappear and we lose it. And this is a really great, I thought, addition to that. I have other questions for you, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit because I want to hear from Brad. Are you still with us?
I am.
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
So, Brad, this is Brad who directed the reading. I'm just curious about. I know that you were a big fan of this play, and when I sent
love the script. Yes.
Yeah. What was your connection with it?
Well, for one, like we said, we are talking about elder people finding love again. It was very, I got a little misty-eyed reading it. Just I'm all about reconnections. Finding people later, from our past, but also just it's witty. I love the character of Stanley. I love how playful he is. He's clearly pretending to not remember anything when he knows he's sharper than he's letting on. I mean, there's a lot of levels to him. So I'm very interested in that character for one.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do much. I mean, these guys already had done this play, professionally, but it was really good to just hear them do it and kind of give a little bit of feedback.
And I'm curious to hear from the actors, because you had done this, what it was like to work on a play live, even though I think it was a reading, you said, and then to do it on Zoom, what that experience was like. Bjorn, I see you, so I'm going to ask you at the top of my screen.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone could just imagine that doing a reading on Zoom is quite different than being live on a stage.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have had the opportunity to work with these guys and to read for James, whose work beyond this is just phenomenal. I've really enjoyed getting to read. But yeah, it's of course, we don't get the connection, really. You're just looking into a little dot. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but it's also nice to know that we've already had the experience of working together in person. So hopefully some of that translates somehow.
Oh, it translated quite a bit. I know the very first reading we did to one of the actors was saying that it was actually not helpful, but, well, maybe it was helpful that they were both in separate spaces because the play that they were reading had to do with distance and separation and having difficulty connecting, so the fact that they were in separate rooms was actually helping with that. It was one of those occasions where that was the case. But watching plays on Zoom is really interesting because it's almost like a cross between a film and a play, and there's like automatic cutting that happens when it's on speaker view, so it creates an interesting perspective for the audience, even if it's
assuming that the technology cooperates.
What?
I said, assuming that the technology cooperates.
Which it did, fortunately for us. So not during tech, but that's why you've tech. Mark and Tom, is there anything you wanted to say about working on this as a Zoom play, or anything you wanted to say about the characters that you connected with, having been with this play now for a while?
Well, okay, we're talking about doing Zoom, which to me is somewhere between radio and theater.
Yes.
It's kind of like voice acting, but not. The group, there's a writing group in the city, which was my understanding of the genesis of the play. So that what you were talking about, referencing the gay pride thing, I was not part of that.
Oh, okay.
But I did do it in the class. And the class itself is so strong. God knows I've been in all kinds of playwright groups that have been just awful, but it's really been so helpful to be every time that you go in there and the work is so good and the people demand such, it's a tremendous growth experience. And this particular text, you have only 10 pages. And you have 60 years worth of lifetime experience to compress into 10 pages. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was, you spent this whole lifetime as a married person, and then 3 years go by and he doesn't, until finally he says this moment that he had when he was this young man, And he decides this is what he's going to pursue now that he's towards the end of his life. And I thought that was a tremendous arc, that kind of life experience, that he still has that spark in him to still seek out love and comfort and companionship. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. And, just to go back to what you were saying, I mean, a lot of things plays I've written that have been performed were from classes too. So it's a great opportunity to develop your work, even if you're already established as a playwright. It sort of gets you, forces you to create something that you might not have ordinarily. So thanks, Tom. Mark, is there anything you'd like to jump in and say?
The only thing I would add to that is I was really grateful that we had done this before, and we actually workshopped it a little bit in this class. So we had the advantage of building that relationship. And I think that that's frankly one of the hardest things in the Zoom environment, is that the rehearsal process is very, removed like this. So, but for this cast, I'm just grateful for that, because I felt like those relationships were already there. And it's such a sweet play to me, because to me, the big message is it's never too late, So.
Yeah. Do we have any questions for James?
I don't have a question.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, this is Pam. But I wanted to say that I thought the way it was done was kind of perfect. And the play itself, as someone said, in 10 minutes, had a full range of life to it that I found remarkable for this format. So my kudos to the actors, the director, and certainly the playwright for this perfect moment in time that we got to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very kind of you to say.
James, I was just curious, I don't know if this is a kind of dumb question, but just as a psychotherapist, if that, I don't know how that influences your work at all, your writing, when you're developing characters. Do you think that you have insight? Yeah.
I thought initially it would make me a better playwright than it did.
Okay. maybe like you overthink things.
I don't know. I thought I would be a natural, but I have a lot of work to do.
Well, you did pretty well with this play. I think we would all agree. So, can you tell us anything about this Trump Dreams project, or is it?
Well, we just had a reading of that last week on Zoom, which was the first time I got to hear. It was like a table. It would have been a table read, except there was no table and the actors were in the same room. But that play is based on a fellow psychotherapist. She compiled all these dreams that people had about Donald Trump, and from before the election for 2 years. And so what I did is I created a narrative for this fictional character, and I interweave the narrative of the fictional character with the storyline that these dreams tell us, and they reveal a lot about us, the audience. So it's very much a work in progress, but I can't say I'm having fun with it because it's sort of driving me nuts, but it's an intense project, but I'm glad to see it coming to life.
Great. Well, I can't wait to see more, hopefully on Zoom or hopefully live.
Okay, hopefully
in your
live.
future. Great. Do we have any, it's actually time for us to sign off. So I'm gonna just thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining the performance today. Again, you can tell your friends to watch it on the Almost Adults Facebook page if they missed it. And we will see you August 30th. I'll be sending out the usual PR for it. And I just wanted to thank the playwrights, the actors, the directors, for giving us of your time and talents to keep Zoom theater alive while we're still in this strange situation until we can return to live theater. And even when we return to live theater, we might still keep this up as an alternative. Who knows? We can reach audiences that we couldn't before, so it's one of the advantages. Thank you all again. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks,
Rob.
Bye.
Mickey, everybody, thank you.
Okay.